Good day, madam. My name is Pong Yen Ho. My matrix number is 284675. Today, our group will present on the research title Instagram Use and Mental Health. Instagram was introduced to the world in October 2010 and experienced an impressive start with 25,000 registered users on its very first day. According to Corvell 2018, its initial success can be attributed to its timely launch, with the release of iPhone 4, which was among the first smartphones equipped with a high-quality camera and could vary traditional point and shot digital cameras. In recent years, social media usage has become increasingly prevalent, especially among young adults. According to RSPH 2017, Instagram use is linked to higher rates of anxiety, depression, and negative body image. Also, according to ARMS 2021, Instagram also decreased self-esteem, heightened feelings of social isolation, and increased level of anxiety and depression as possible consequences. The problem statement of this research. According to RSPH 2017, extensive research has demonstrated a correlation between high levels of Instagram usage and negative mental health outcomes, such as increasing anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. In a particular study, young adults who spend more time on Instagram exhibited higher levels of depression and anxiety compared to those who spend less time on the platform. However, it is important to note that there is some research suggesting that Instagram can also have positive effects on mental health. For instance, according to Mendes, the platform can serve such as a valuable sources of social support and facilitate connection. Overall, while Instagram usage can yet both positive and negative effects on mental health, it is crucial to approach social media consumption mindfully and cultivate healthy online habits.
Salam Shastras and a very good day to the doctors. My name is Tangguan Shin and my matrix number is 287471. And today I'm going to continue the presentations on the literature reviews. First of all, literature reviews is a critical and systematic examinations of existing public research, scholarly articles, books, and other relevant sources on a particular topics, which is our topic is Instagram use and mental health. So it involves gathering, summarizing, and evaluating the findings and ideas from various sources to develop a comprehensive understanding of these subjects. So for our research topic, which is diagram use and mental health, there are numerous research studies has been carried out to examine the connections among the Instagram use and mental health. Among this research, several journals has distinguished themselves by providing a clear insight into the factors that influence the health issues of Instagram user, as well as elucidating the interconnections involving the Instagram use and mental health. These selected journals have captivated our attentions due to their valuable contributions to understanding these complex relationships. In recent years, the main emphasized areas has been the consequences of social media networks on mental health. Instagram stands out as one of these platforms. This is especially well liked and influential among young people. The purpose of this literature review is to investigate the link between the Instagram use and also the depressed symptoms or behavior. After conducting an extensive review of 20 additional research studies and journals related to our research topic on the link between Instagram use and mental health, we've successfully identified several critical factors that contribute to this relationship. And these factors include social comparisons as the first one, and self-esteem derived from the validations, social media dependencies, frequency and durations of Instagram use, and as well as the poor self-rated attractiveness. These key findings shed light on the significant influence that Instagram usage can have on mental health outcomes, which can cause us some severe mental health issues towards the Instagram user. In this research, we have thoroughly examined and analyzed 20 authoritative articles and journals to investigate the connections between Instagram use and mental health. This selected sources has been pivotal in shaping our understanding of these complex relationships. And here are the references of the articles that we have been reviewed.
The proposed model will employ multiple regression analysis to assess the relationship between the independent and dependent variables. Thus, the two sample t-tests will also be utilized to compare the differences in Instagram usage and the mental health. The outcome between two groups The finding from this model will provide a valuable insights into a integrate interaction between Instagram use and mental health, helping to identify the potential risk factors and protective factors as associated with social media behaviors. Based on our research, there are 6 hypothesis tests that we created. The first one is there is a significant relationship between social comparison and the dependent variables. There is a significant relationship between self-esteem built on validation and the dependent variable. And there's a significant relationship between social media dependence and the dependent variable. And there's a significant relationship between frequency of Instagram usage and the dependent variable. There's a significant relationship between how receiving negative feedback on Instagram makes you feel and the dependent variable. And there's a significant relationship between how you typically feel after broadcasting on Instagram and the dependent variable. The data collection method used in this study were primary and secondary data. For the primary data refers to the online survey use Google Form for the study, and the secondary data refers to the literature review, which is information from journals and articles. For the data collection duration, we are for collecting from June 24 until July 13. And for the platform that we used for data collection is WhatsApp. For the sample and demographic, 104 students who have an Instagram account in University Utara Malaysia.
My name is Hazan Hin, and matrix number is 289714. And let us talk about the findings and discussion. First of all, let us talk about the frequency and time spent on Instagram. The first one is the multiple regression model. The R square value is 0.026, which is 2.6% variation explained. And the second is the dependent variable forecasting. And then for the model significance for the p-value is 0.2654, which is lesser than 0.05, which means the model doesn't predict dependent variable significantly. And the third is the Instagram use comparison. So this talk about how frequently do you use Instagram measure. And the hypothesis test for means between two groups, and the two-tail p-value is 1.92144E15, and one-tail p-value is the 3.84287E15. For the t-statistic is 8.4994, which is the strong evidence against null, and that's the rejection of the null hypothesis. And for the conclusion is Instagram broadcasting and loneliness and gender not strong predictors, and significant differences in Instagram usage frequency between groups. So let's talk about the self-esteem built on validation. For the self-esteem built on validation, the first point is the multiple regression model, and the R square value is 0.092, which is the 9.2% variance explained, and the second is the independent variable explained 9.2% of dependent variable variance. The second is the model significance. We can saw that the significance for the p-value is 0.0076, which is lesser than 0.05, and model significantly predicts depends variable. And the self-esteem comparison is the variable self-esteem built on validation and approval of other. The two sample t-test for means between two groups. One tail p-value is 9.84833E05, and the two tail p-value is 0.000196967, and the t-statistic is negative 3.7911, which is the strong evidence against null and the rejection of null hypothesis. So for conclusion, we can conclude that the model is moderately predicts depend variable and strong evidence of difference in self-esteem level between groups. Next, let us talk about the social comparison. So for the first point, multiple regression model, we can saw that there are the low R square value. which is 0.025, 2.5% variance explained, and the independent variables explain the 2.5% of dependent variable variance. For the second point is the model significance. The significance f p-value is 0.2736, which is larger than 0.05, and the possibility of the model are not significantly predicting dependent variable. The third point is the negative feedback of the comparison. So the first one is variables. How does receiving negative feedback on Instagram make you feel? Two sample t-tests for means between two groups, and the t-statistic is negative 9.7554. For the one-tail p-value is 5.01544 that 19, and the two-tail p-value is 1.00309 18. So there are the strong evidence against null hypothesis and rejection of null hypothesis. So for the conclusion is the model has low predictive power. So strong evidence of difference in feelings after negative feedback on Instagram between groups. So for the last is the poor self-read attractiveness. So for the first point is the multiple regression model. So we can saw that the R square value is 0.022, which is 2.2% variance explained. For second is the independent variables explain 2.2% of dependent variable variance. For the model significance, we can see that the significance f for the p-value is 0.3248, which is larger than 0.05, and we suggest the model might not significantly predict dependent variable. For the anxiety copying comparison, the variable is how do you cope with anxiety relate to your Instagram usage. So two sample t-tests for means between two groups for our form, and the t statistic is negative 5.6053, and the one-tail p-value is 3.31071E08, and the two-tail p-value is 6.62141E08. So there are the strong evidence against null hypothesis and rejection of null hypothesis. For the conclusion, we can see that the model has a very low predictive power and strong evidence of differences in anxiety copying related to Instagram usage between groups. At last, let us talk about the conclusion of our research. So the first four conclusion is study focus on relationship between Instagram use and mental health. Explore variables is the younger user and anxiety risk, loneliness from broadcasting, feedback impact, self-esteem based on the validation, and social comparison. Use multiple regression and t-tests to analyze predictors and differences in mental health outcomes, and found self-esteem built on validation as predictive of social media dependency. For the last four conclusion is the significant differences in Instagram usage frequency between groups, copying with Instagram related anxiety varied. Specific variables play crucial roles in understanding Instagram's impact on mental health. Further research need to explore additional predictors, demographics, and psychological factors for comprehensive understanding. Thank you.